Hello dudes and dudettes, this is Sugik Knight and this is my DawnGate beginner guide. And some people probably remember my previous guide. Well, that guide is a bit outdated now, so I decided to make a new one to the newer players who are really interested in trying out the game, and I'm trying to explain everything clear as I can. And I will be talking a bit of the inside game and a bit of the outside game mechanics. And let's get started. Before we hop into the actual game, I'm going to talk about a bit of the actual roles in this game. In MMOs you have certain classes in the game, like tanks and stuff like that. And in DawnGate you have 4 roles: Gladiator, Tactician, Hunter and Predator. And each of these roles you can play each shaper with each role. There's no limitation to this, but you can only choose one role in one game, and you do this on the selection screen, as you can see on the screen. And Gladiator pretty much gives you bonus whim from last hitting. Tactician is for supports and will give you whim from being nearby when enemy minions die on the lane. Also, it will give you bonus whim from poking enemies on the lane. This will embrace more, well, tactician play, so to speak. And Hunter will give you bonuses well on jungling, and Predator will get bonuses from killing enemy shapers. So quickly go over the jungle ones. So you do 10% more damage on the jungle, you heal from the jungle minions, and also you might have a RNG chance to get bonus whim from killing the minions in the jungle. Predator will give you pretty much a more percent experience and increased whim from killing enemy shapers. This is a very high-end risk for assassins mostly, and also you get more money from the spiritual workers. And I already mentioned the Tactician. Now of course there's a Gladiator. Melee only has this certain special rule, and this kind of ends up my very fast role introduction. Next up we're going to talk about a bit of the loadouts in this game and what they are. Those who have played League of Legends will have a really good understanding what loadouts are. They're really similar to Master Rune system in this game, so let's do a testing one. So first of all, you have these passives on here, and you can read there's a Berserker unique passive. Once you reach the certain pieces inside the piece, you're able to rotate these actually the way you want. And you see there's a red one, there's a red one, there's a blue, red, green one. This when you have 3 colors, this means you can use any of the light bulbs here. Then we go to the sparks, okay? And there's like 3 spark colors at the moment. So we have the blue one, the red one, and the green one. And we put a red to the red spots, okay? And then let's see, we're gonna use 2 blues here and put a green. And then there appears that you're unlocked a unique passive, okay? And you can also like put, let's say I'm gonna put a blue one here and greens here. Now we have a combination, but we don't get the bonus because we're not using the right stones, the right sparks at the slots. Also, you're able to craft more of these spirit stones. You only have 1 passive on each tree. I think there was like a button, will fit. Okay, yes, here we go. And as you can see, there's different combinations which you can use on making a certain. Now this is one example of having a full set here, and then we're able to throw the sparks here, and as you can see there's a bonus on the sparks, so always use the right ones on the right slots. There's a very different combinations which you're able to use and which I suggest using. It will take a lot of time to understand all of the actual bonuses, and you have to really look what are the best for your shaper. I want to go in detail because meta changes so much, but this is pretty much how it works. And as you can see, they get the passive, and there's the crafting mode, which means you're able to craft with waste. You're not able to use the waystone points to get them because it's not a pay to win, so you have to use the in-game currency destiny. And there's many different bonuses you can and sparks you can build. Crafting mode is a really good thing, and you're able to play different playstyles and different passives, and I assume they were gonna add a lot of sparks and a lot of passives inside the game later on. And this concludes the loadout parts. Before we actually jump into the actual battlefield, I want to quickly go over about the items. In DawnGate you have an item system which is very similar to Smite's one. It's kind of different from League and Dota, where you need recipes and multiple items to need to build one certain item. In DawnGate you don't have this case. Basic upgrades to advanced, and advanced builds to legendary item. It is very simple, and you have 6 startup items in the game, and you're able to buy all of these at level 1. And first of all we have life. And life builds to, well, okay, first of all, life gives you health and health regen. And this will build up to many other life items, and items that give you health back and from killing minions or shapers, and give you like raw health bonus, pretty much. Resilience is your typical sustain item, which gives you armor, and there's many different paths for this one, which will reduce damage taken from basic attacks and anything like this. The third item is Will, which is equivalent to magic resistance item, and this gives you sustain against magic damage in this game. Also there is items like Freedom, which reduces tenacity of the disabling effects, aka the crowd control. Then we have power, and everything scales in DawnGate with power, so you're able to buy this for mages and AD carries in this game. And there's many different items that give defense penetration, raw power, and well, there's many different things coming from the power tree. There's probably most items from the power tree itself. Then we have time, which gives you haste. And haste is a really interesting stat in this game, and haste will give you attack speed bonus, cooldown reduction, and movement speed bonus. In this game there is no boots. That's the one thing I need to tell you. Everything scales with haste. If you want movement speed, you buy haste. There are certain items in this game that might give you, like motion, gives you 5% movement speed. This is a really good item if you want more movement speed. And each shaper has an individual scaling of each of these 3 stats. So in an instance you play a different shaper, he might have 1-to-1 ratio with attack speed. One haste will give 1% attack speed, but it's not the case with every shaper. Same goes to power and other stats. And last one is hunger, and this will give you, well, heal, and it will build to life drain items, and life drain is equivalent of lifesteal and spell vamp, so it will give you heal from your abilities as it will from your basic attacks. And then we have the consumables. There's not much in the game currently. We have Vitality Potion, which heals you on the lane. These are usually one that people take on the very start. We have Flask of Moxie, which give you increased maximum health, and you will also regain health per second while being in combat. And we have Flask of Foresight, which will allows you sense presence of enemy shapers for 4 minutes, and Flask of Prowess, which will increase power and haste. And in this game we have consumable slots, so they don't take space from the items. You have 6 items in this game plus 2 consumable slots. And that kind of ends up my explanation of the item system. Hopefully this was very clear for many people out there. Next up, I'm gonna quickly go over the actual stats in the game and how they will affect things, and I'll quickly go over the standard ones. So the basic attack damage, and each shaper in this game has a different scaling with the power. Okay, so as you can see, dips will gain 0.2 attack damage per point of power. Okay, and in this case some other shaper might have like 1-to-1 ratio, or somebody might have 1.2, or somebody might have 0.3, and this will be always different. And then we have the armor and magic resistance. This is the really basic stuff. So armor will reduce physical damage sources from auto attacks and minions and jungle creeps and even parasite. I think the guardian damage is also physical damage. Magic resistance is against magic damage in this game, and building magic resistance well reduces the damage, and then you can see the percents on them, how much is actually reduction. Then we have the power, and as I mentioned, the power will increase your normal attacks damage, but it will also increase your abilities damage. As you can see, the nightmare skills has 55 bonus, and the second one has plus 77. So these ratios will affect the actual abilities, shields, ultimates, even heals. Some might scale from health even in abilities. Then we have a trait called defense penetration, and this is very like an armor penetration, and you are able to buy items that give, like this one. This is 10 plus defense penetration aggression. So this will increase the flat penetration of defense, so to speak. And this will also apply on armor and magic resistance, so you don't need two different penetration. There's only one defense penetration in this game. Then we have mastery, and the mastery is pretty much will give you critical strikes on your abilities. Also it gives you spell overload, which means, well, it's a spell crit. And mastery you are able obtainable from the loadouts and true items. Life drain is the last stat on this list, and life drain is pretty much lifesteal and spell wimp equivalent, so you get healed from your auto attacks and abilities. Then we have haste, and haste, well, the same thing. So from each point of haste will increase your movement speed, cooldown reduction, and bonus attack speed. Each shaper once again have their own scalings and they might vary. And the last is movement speed. And this kind of ends up the stats thing. Hopefully I remember to explain everything about them and how they work. And this part ends. Next up, I'm going to talk about the warding system and vision overall in DawnGate. In DawnGate, you don't have to buy wards because you can't buy wards. In DawnGate, each shaper in the start of the game is starting with a ward, okay? And this ward is, well, placeable in the anywhere of the map every 3 minutes, and once the ward ends it will replenish in your, well, it's not an inventory, but in your spells, and you're able to cast it again, okay? And this just encourages people to ward constantly, so you don't need to buy them, and this is a really nice feature. And other MOBAs have taken a good example of this because nobody wants to buy wards and you're just able to blend it. And I have a hotkey of T. I don't think that's the original hotkey, so you have to figure out what's that one. And here I'm gonna put a ward on the brush, and as you can see the cooldown starts to click in here and here. And those who don't know about the warding system, those who haven't played League of Legends or another MOBA, the wards or the brushes are something where you're invisible. So if somebody walks over here, he's not able to see me if I'm inside the ward, okay? So I'm practically invisible. And same applies if I'm walking from here and somebody is waiting on this brush. But if I have warded it, I have a control knowing where the enemy shaper might be, okay? And in that sense also it's really important to ward along the lanes so you're able to predict where the enemy jungle comes and tries to kill you and your teammate on the lane. Also we have the consumable Flask of Foresight. Already talked about this a bit. So this is an item that gives you a vision over a certain area. I think it's relatively high area. In case somebody would be here, I would be able to see them, okay? But this is only duration of 240 seconds, okay? So 4 minutes you're able to see enemy shapers nearby the areas. If I'm 100% sure, this effect will go away if you happen to die. Just remember to ward anytime possible, and remind your new players always to put the wards on the brushes or on the lane, wherever you want to put them. Hopefully this was really insightful about the wards and the vision in DawnGate. Next up, I'm going to talk about a bit of the abilities and systems in DawnGate, okay? Each shaper in this game has 4 abilities from Q, W, E, and R. R is always ultimate. And also we have a passive, okay? Dips has a passive called Pure Shaper, so Dips is able to cast spells freely. This means Dips doesn't use a resource. Let's say maybe third of the shapers have a resource and they are really different to that shaper, and it may affect their abilities damage or how frequently they are able to use their abilities. In a case, there's a shaper called Amaranth. More her resource is up, more damage she does with the spells, okay? There's many systems like these, but most of the shapers don't have a resource. That improves the more aggressive playstyle and more dynamic playstyle rather than sitting on the lane and saving up your mana all the time. Once your cooldowns are out, you are able to spam spells freely. So we have Q, W, E, and R. And usually the ultimate has the longest cooldown, as in many other MOBAs, and other things have smaller cooldown. Sorry about that. Then we have the spellbook system. Spellbook is a really interesting system. So in a case where it's very similar to Smite system, where you're able to buy spells inside the game, and you're able to get 3 spells in this game. The first you can buy from level 1, and second you can buy at level 10, and third one you can buy at level 20. These are free. You're able to sell them, but you can buy another one if you want to change in late game. In the offense tree we have Exceed, which gives you bonus power plus additional percentual power from your power for 5 seconds. This is made for pretty much, well, you know, mages and AD carries. Then we have Stagger, which deals magical damage and reduces their movement speed for a while, which decays over time. And this will be depending on the distance you target. Then we have Drain, which will sap life force from the enemy shaper for the duration of 5 seconds. If you walk out from the range, this will stop. And this also deals magic damage and will do healing. In all this addition, reduced by 50% of the enemy's healing effects of the duration. On the defense tree we have Stasis, which is a very comparable to Zonias in League of Legends. So 2-second immunity, you can't move, you can't do anything, you just, well, become golden for 2 seconds and nobody can hit you or any effect. It removes every effect and everything. Then we have Deflect, which is a shield for all allies in the area. So this is an AoE shield. This is something you want to use for support. Wither is very similar to Exhaust in League of Legends, which reduces speed by 40% and attack speed also, and deal 25% less damage. This is also very good for supports. Then we have Bastion, which is a personal shield and lasts 2 seconds. In addition, you will get bonus armor and magic resistance by using this. Then we have Dispel, which removes all debuffs except suppression. And for next 3 seconds, disable effects have a lesser duration on you. And also you will get a 1 second speed buff if you happen to successfully disable a debuff. Then we have utility ones, that is Blink. Well, it's a very equivalent to Flash in League. Then we have Vanquish, which deals damage to, well, jungle creeps, minions, or workers. Then we have Tailwind, which gives AoE movement speed bonus for your team, really good from ability. Then we have Blitz, which increases movement speed for 6 seconds and you're disabled for all, like, disabling effects of suppression. Also, like I mentioned, if I would be picking Vanquish for my first spell, I would be able to sell it on late game because you don't need it. This is one thing that jungles uses, okay, the hunter. So in late game you're able to sell the Vanquish because its value is lower on the late game when it's all about team fights. That is really good for the system. That ends up my part about the abilities in this game. Hopefully this was insightful for you. Next up I'm going to talk about the map in DawnGate. It's very unique to different other MOBAs in this genre. DawnGate uses a 2-lane map. Instead of 3 lanes you have 2 lanes. And usually the rotation and metagame is 2 on each lane and 1 jungle. You're able to run double jungle as well, but that has lately fallen a bit off the wagon, so to speak. But it's possible and the economics of the game allow it, okay? Next up we have the Spirit Wells in this game, okay? And Spirit Wells are, well, if people have played StarCraft, they're very similar to the minerals. So we have these little workers over here which are grinding from harvesting from the trees. I don't know what they're harvesting, possibly they might be harvesting from these giant metal shaped things. The whim for you, and this will be a passive gold income for your team, okay? The more workers, the more whim will they gain. You're able to kill these with your enemy shaper if you want to invade. The jungles usually do this in this game, so they will invade the enemy. Okay, actually it's better way to show you guys. So here's an enemy Spirit Well, and these are like a really major point of the economics in this game. And the workers can actually fight back, but I don't think they have like a passive aggro. And as you can see, once you move to the circle you're capturing the point, okay? And once you have fully captured the point, the enemy workers will die and you have captured the Spirit Well, okay? And this will give you like 4 times. Now we can see on top corner you're able to see the Spirit Wells, okay? And now we have captured all, and we will get like a really high passive win gain over this. And once you have captured, the workers will respawn, but they will be yours. And you might think, what is this like a white thing going on over the circle of the actual Spirit Well? And this means, well, pretty much once the white line will go to the end, it's unlockable again. Like this is unlocked, and this is unlocked, and this is unlocked, but this one is locked. And you're not able to recapture it if it's locked, okay? Also, in this game, we have, well actually I'm going to talk about the bindings in this game. We have the bindings which are really like the turrets. There's 3 of them in each lane, and the cool unique feature about them is they will respawn once they're destroyed. There's a really big timer on that, but they will respawn eventually. And this will kind of like create a gameplay whereas, well, you're able to turtle out if you happen to really lose on early game and enemy team snowballing. If you're able to defend out, you're able to have your bindings back and you're able to maybe make a comeback. And as you can see, here's a destroyed one, here's a destroyed one, destroyed, and pretty much all the ulterior bindings are destroyed, but these will despawn in like 20 minutes time. Also, in the very middle of the map I'm going to show you the boss. This is called the Parasite, okay? And Parasite actually has 3 forms, and this is the final form. Each form will give different bonuses, and the final one will give you a buff, and I think it's gonna be a lot of whim and a lot of experience. This is very essential objective in this game. I don't feel it's important as Baron in League of Legends, but it's still very important, and it's one of the part of being like keeping the control in the game and able to snowball pretty easier. And there's many crazy strategies which you can do, like running with 5 people and take Vanquish and kill it on level 1 and stuff like that. And that also has a bit of AA. It may use different abilities. Well, not this time it seems. Well, anyways, also there's a lot of bosses in the map. There's a lot of creep camps, and some of these creep camps have also buffs, and some may give you extra whim. But I won't talk about the actual, well, the jungle camps in this video, not so much, because I want to make a separate jungle guide. I have made an existing jungle guide. It's a bit outdated, but it still has a real lot of relevant information. This concludes the map thing, and next time I'm gonna talk about the card. Next up I'm gonna talk about the Guardian itself. And the Guardian is equivalent in other games. You have usually bases. In this game you have a Guardian which is, well, equivalent to that base. Okay, he's apparently shooting me. And there's these cores which you are able to destroy. And each of the core will give a certain ability for the Guardian. Once you destroy the core, he cannot use that certain ability again. As you can see, he has 5 different spells. He has a 1 beam, and now he has 2 abilities down because the 2 cores have been destroyed. And once you have destroyed each one of the 5 cores, he is not able to do anything except auto attack. Okay, auto attacks are splash damage, which means they won't hit you. So I mean, they're kind of AoE. So if you're able to dodge them, they won't hit you and you won't receive any damage. Cheating against 6v5 situation, so to speak, where you are against, well, you know, there's 5 defending and you're against the 1 Guardian and 5 people. That may prove to be really hard to end the game. So you have to really like take your time to really assault the base and take all the enemy cores. And as you can see, he has only 2 abilities left, and this will make it really easier for me to assault the base. I'm not sure if I'm going to live actually, but we will see. Yeah, okay, I died. Well, that was a poor behavior from me. But as you can see, once all the generators are dead, well, the cores, you're able to destroy the Guardian. And the Guardian has 5k health, and once you have killed the Guardian, the game will be over, and you have been victorious, and you win the game. And that kind of ends up my DawnGate beginner guide, and wait for that jungle guide coming up real soon.